Well, thank you, Craig, and hello, everyone. The subject for today is going to be really incredible. Another great download. I always love getting those. And the subject and topic is going to be hi, Mary, hi, Jay, Deb, Lisa Marie, Michael, Kevin, Deborah, Sandy, Melody, Bill, Scott. Thanks for getting on there. And it's so funny as I did that. Hi, Coach Bob. Is again, the whole topic is going to be about feelings. Okay. So now I know that sounds really, really silly, but I hope as I unpack this, each and every one of you will go, definitely, definitely. And so, one of the things that when you ask people, why do they do whatever they do? It's like my wife, if I talked about sports, she's just like has no feelings for it. Do you guys get what I'm talking about? So you run into people and you're like, man, I love NASCAR. And it's like they should drive around in circles. It's like who can watch people drive around in circles for 500 miles, 3.5 hours, and some people feel that way about sports. But then again, what are your feelings? If I just said this, what are your feelings about everything? You go to the hospital, right? And what do they say? They say on a scale to 0 to 10, how are you feeling right now? Where's the pain, right? And when you really, really think about this, what really is crazy about communication is when something makes you feel something, then people always ask you logical thoughts about how you feel. And that's where we really mess up, because then we try to logically, through thinking and overthinking, we try to get across to people what we feel. I honestly think that I'm done with this daily wisdom. But no, let's go into it. And I thought of this because I talked about sports, but how many people like and if you don't want to raise your hand, you don't have to. But how many people like reality shows? Okay. So now here's the funny thing about reality shows is we know when people do things and we watch drama, we watch crazy drama, that the first thought a majority of people have in their head is like, well, I guess my life is not that bad because these people are emotional wrecks. It's like I see Coach Rob doing the same thing that I did. Hi, Prosper. Thanks for being on here. Thanks, Matt. Sure, Ezra's behind there. So when you really, really think about life, it's pretty hilarious that when people go, oh, I'm never going to get married. But yet when they talk to a person that's happily married, did you hear the way I said that? Happily married. It's all about feelings. Whether or not people want to have children, it's about feelings. Whether or not somebody has a certain job or not, it's feelings. And I know this might be just basic, but here's my thought. I'm going to do this video either tomorrow or Friday. But have any of you played checkers? Okay. If you played checkers, there's some basic stuff you got to know. And I've always said this with my mentor, would always go, no one got an owner's manual. Why are you so upset? And why do you beat the crap out of yourself? Because you never got an owner's manual for life. We just always look at ourselves as, God, how can I be so stupid? Why can't I figure this out? It is like Sandy, that's what Terry watches, me and Terry watch. And she's got a bunch of them. But again, when we watch those and they do this stuff, we not only go, wow, at least my life isn't that wacky, but then we say another part is why would someone act this way? Why would someone feel this way? Why are they so emotional? Why are they so like out there, right? And then I always say, I don't know why you watch this stuff. And so when Terry's watching it upstairs and I take my headphones off and whatever I'm doing downstairs and I can hear, all I hear is, you know, beep, 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 beep. And I'm going like, how could you watch that? Well, because I'm listening to it, right? So this brings me to a couple of very powerful deals. One is I don't know. Let me see if I can show it here. I haven't found the YouTube channel yet, but I just want to share with you guys a couple of things because me and my wife just started watching this, and it's called Special Forces. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this, Special Forces, but they take, I'm sure that Special Forces as a TV show, here it is, they probably have a YouTube channel, World's Toughest Test on Fox. So, you know, everybody give a hand to Craig. I know he's searching. But there's no doubt in my mind that you guys, this is on their, I think their fourth show. So that means that if it's gone a number of years, that people are watching it, right? But basically, it's TV reality stars, you know, actors, singers, professional athletes, you name it. These are all people that had a super high in their career, and now they're sort of out of it, and now they're trying to recreate themselves, right? And so what's amazing about that is I would say if you would watch it, I normally don't give out like homework, but here's homework. But if you don't watch a series, try to watch as many videos of the highlights that you can find on TikTok or you know, YouTube or Instagram, whatever. Because I want you to imagine this, all right? Imagine feeling so empty inside, and you sort of look at a career. A lot of us maybe didn't have like a super height in our career. But think about, I'm going to figure out what I'm made of, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these 4X Special Forces guys just basically do everything in their power, physically and mentally, sleep deprived, and also everyone, you know, 16 or whatever they start with, all sleeping on cots that Special Forces would sleep in the cold, in the hot, in the constant wet. And they say this when they come on, is they all got a number. They no longer have a name, and they got a number, and their deal is to make you quit. Make you quit. So I'll just give you a couple of them, right? So what you got to do is they strap you in a helicopter. You got the big harness on, and then they have a crane on just a shell of a helicopter, and they slowly drop you in the water while you have this harness on, right? So the deal is as it's coming up, to catch your breath, and you got to hold your breath for 15 seconds, the scuba diver will tap on your arm. Now you got to unbuckle that, start to get out of the helicopter, but they always have one other little thing that you got to do on your panic out of the helicopter. Like you got to go out a certain door, or you have to grab something, whatever. So the reason that I'm bringing this up is I think that each and every one of you, if you could watch a series, you know, or a couple of episodes, here's what I want you guys to watch, because it's deliberate that they put somebody in there that is so mentally gone. Now, they don't think they're mentally gone. But when you first see them and the way that they walk and the way that they sort of act, you're like, boy, this person's been mentally, they beat the crap out of themselves and they have no self-worth anymore. Zero. So as soon as they get there, they immediately have an attitude and they immediately start making excuses about everything. It's like, so they like, so man, number 3 that we watched, when you're coming to the special forces deal, you're in vehicles, right? Or a boat. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you signed up for this, but out of nowhere, these special forces people attack you. They actually stop the vehicle, stop the boat, whatever, and they go on there and they start telling everybody, put your effing head down. They start pushing everyone's head down, and then they put a black sack over your face, so you can't see, like you're in a hostage situation, and they got everyone bent over, and they're screaming at them. As soon as someone starts saying something, they start shouting at them and shoving them down. And how many of you, I guarantee, when you see the opening scene on all of these, you're going like, no. Don't even give me a number. I'm done. Because it would just push your ego too far. Why is this person treating me this way? Well, now he gets every person to stand up. And of course, the motors are running wide open on this boat, right? And he pulls the head off, and imagine him saying this to you. It's like, how should I know you? And these are professional athletes. They're professional Olympics. They're gold medal people. They're people that are movie stars. There's people that have been on show programs. And it's like, because imagine that. Why should I know who you are? You probably think I want to know your name. I don't. And with both hands right in the chest, he pushes him off the back of a speeding boat. And I'm thinking, and there's people there, they slowly go through their stories. But like one of the people that were there is, she just got out of a very abusive relationship for years. And they showed pictures of her black and blue face and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, she gets on there for a reason, right? Why would she get on here? And the very first thing she's got is another male screaming in her face, jerking her hair back by her ponytail and putting a black thing on her face. And some of you are going to go, that's just wrong. But then you see people, they bring them in and sort of do like a special forces therapy. It's like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? Well, I had this stuff happen to me. And, blah, 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 blah. They're telling their trauma story. And it's like these two special forces look at each other and go, can I ask you one more question? Yeah. You make it sound like this just happened to you before you got on the show. Did this happen yesterday? No. When did this happen? A few years ago. You're talking about something that happened years ago? Stop it. It's like, holy cow. So the only reason I'm bringing this up is you got, people that are Super Bowl champions or soccer champions or gold medal winners in the Olympics. And every moment of their day used to be planned. You guys understand what I'm saying? Professional athletes and people that are trying to win a gold medal, it's like every moment of their day is planned. Every moment. And they're going, hey, congratulations. Thank you for the gold medal. You're on your own now. And it's like, I don't, so you can see people mentally struggling with one day being the deal, and now they're like nobody. So if you watch this, and if you don't, that's okay. But if you watch this, I guarantee you, you're going to find things that you emotionally connect with, even though it's not winning a gold medal or a Super Bowl, right? Because what you find out is some of these people have lost loved ones, lost brothers, sisters, lost mom and dads. It's really crazy the stuff that these people went. Well, you know, I'll give one away. But how many people know who Brody Jenner is? So Brody Jenner is the son of Bruce Jenner, that's now Caitlyn Jenner. Okay? So one kid doesn't know who he is and says, someone said your dad is famous. And he goes, well, I guess he was, and now he's famous for being Caitlyn, not Bruce. And the guy's like, what? And he just turned around and walked away. And then someone walked over to him and explained. It's like, not only wasn't he around for his son because he was pursuing his Olympic stuff, but then he met Kris Jenner and just started with that family. You see what I mean? And it's like, I really didn't get to spend any time with my dad. And now he's not my dad. He's, I don't know, another mom or something. And so this might sound weird, but watching people trying to figure out their thoughts, and now they're being pushed to their limit by all these things that they have to do. And they keep seeing that it's their thinking, their thoughts in their mind that make them immediately give up. And a majority of these people fail at the task. So how many times can you have someone say to you, here, this is what you got to do. And then the person fails at it. And when you see the task, they are crazy. They're just nuts, these tasks, right? Like jumping off a 130-foot bridge with nothing but a belt on, on a rope. It's like, it's crazy, the stuff that they get these people to do. And of course, they make attempts to do it and then they fail. So you get that right away when they fail. It's like, okay, so Jesus, I finally got my mind wrapped around that I'm going to do this. And then I do it and I don't do it correctly. So now I'm freezing to death and I'm looking at a guy screaming me in the face going, you effing failure. Aren't you tired of losing? And see, I guarantee a lot of you are going to watch it and go, man, this is just straight out verbal, mental, physical abuse on every angle. But you immediately start finding the people that were superstars, their last memories are them winning a Super Bowl, their last, winning a gold medal. And it's like, now that you're in life, don't you realize it's just going from failure to failure to failure to failure to failure to failure? You see what I mean? And it's like a lot of people don't want to try because they think they're going to fail. Well, you watch these people go through failure after failure after failure. Has any of you watched it at all? It's like, man. So I'm not going to spend any more time on it, just to catch you guys up on a couple of things and then we're done. So, how many of you, not only on Master's Mind, but you do your best to plug into all 7 lives that we do, and Craig will talk about it. And I'm really pushing myself. And my feelings are not very comfortable when I do masterminds. Because I am worried about what other people think. You guys are watching me. in my whole life do things that I'm very comfortable. And I'm so comfortable that other people's thoughts about me are nothing. They're non-existent. In fact, they're the opposite. I still love them and I still want for them what I want for myself. I just know that mentally not there. They're not in control of their feelings. So a lot of stuff that I've been bringing back to you guys is me doing things now that I've never done before because I'm pushing myself and I'm going, whoa, whoa, I forgot about this icky feeling. I forgot about this feeling like I'm going to fail. I forgot about, being rejected. I forgot about because I'm doing stuff that I've never done before. So, first of all, I always looked at, my uniqueness and a miracle, from the greatest miracle in the world. And then I've been seeking my relationship with that thing that I know that's bigger than me. But that's been very, very private. I don't want to share with people. Or, see, you just got to listen to yourself. I wasn't confident enough and belief enough in who I am and what I believed in on a spiritual level to feel comfortable to share it. And I have said this, that's why I love watching success stories. And so watching how much Charlie Kirk has inspired people that are very, 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 very public, and they're going, for the first time in my life, I'm going to tell you how I feel about my faith. They're not saying that this is the way it is. They're saying, this is what I feel. So in a conversation yesterday, when Matt was on recess, I was listening to him talking about his feelings when he read the Bible. And my thoughts were, how can I logically? No, I didn't say logically. I went from my feelings to my logic and trying to get him to understand my feelings. Now, my wife, my sons, everyone that knows me knows what I feel because I'm so bold about my feelings. But when I want that for them, then I mess up and I try to explain it logically. Some of you guys, if you got that, you'll understand how fast you can create wealth and riches in every area of your life. Because when people find something that makes them feel really, really deeply feel, then they want everyone to feel that way. So now what they're doing is they don't care who they're sharing it with. It's all about finding the people that have ears to hear. And it's a gift. And it's like, listen, I want this feeling that I have for everyone. And so I'm going to tell everyone you need to read this book. And if they don't, that's just their fault. And then people go, well, now that I created a relationship with them, how do I talk about anything else? Well, you just caught yourself. You now went from your heart and your feelings to your thinking. And now you're stuck and you're overwhelmed and you're overthinking and you're beating yourself up. And Dino comes out of nowhere and he's got 20 voices because you went from here to here. So I got to thinking about that after we got done with that recess. And so what's the very first thing that I did? I went to Chat GPT and I just said, hey, listen, as I'm sharing my beliefs and faith, I'm running into people that don't understand. What are ways that they can understand if they believe that based on their perception when they read the Bible that God is a really super bad dude? Uh Hell destroys people, blah 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 blah. And I said it that way. And ChatGPT came back and it says you always can look at it based on your perspective. He told Noah to build the ark while everyone was asking, why is he doing that? And it was because God was displeased with how evil people were. And they wouldn't repent or change. That took 120 years. It's like God didn't just get mad one day and go, people irritate me, I'm wiping them out. So when you see all these stories where we hear the wrath of God, and then you find out from the time that he was trying to get people to change their free will to the time that he finally said, I'm done. And when you find out that it's a couple of generations, you go like, wow, you know? But after I sent that to Matt, I went, wow, that's logic. I took what I said in logic. I want to help anyone I would love to feel the way I feel. And then what I immediately did is I put that in there and I copied that to him. And I went, wow, I asked my thoughts what to send somebody. Have any of you guys ever done that? And immediately it just hit me in the heart. And it just goes, why don't you send him something that makes you feel? And that's the video that I posted today. So right away, I sent him, hey, I can't explain it to you, but this is the way I feel. And it was just a bunch of people singing. And of course, the whole audience is there, similar to the memorial, you know, and it's in I Trust in God. And I posted that. And so then all of a sudden it started more brain dump. Because for those of you that have heard my personal story and it's in a book, you know, how is that working? I talk about this thing that my mentor did to me where he said, what if I endorse this check over to you? And he says, if I endorse this check over to you, what would you do with it? And so when I told him what I would do with it, he then asked me how I would feel. See, and there wasn't really any feelings from me when I'm talking about taking care of bills that I'm a couple of months behind on. I mean, how many of you pay bills? When you pay them, isn't there like zero feeling there? It's like, you're just like, I'd rather not pay this bill, but it is cool to have electricity and water and an automobile. So we pay those, but it's not a big like hurrah, right? Yeah, are you guys with me? But when he finally got rid of all that stuff, and then I explained to him that I felt like I blew it with my now wife, Terry. And I wanted to, you know, buy her an engagement ring and tell her how much I miss and love her, and that I wanted to go home and, you know, back to Montana and propose to her and just beg her, not propose to her, beg her to be my wife. And he goes, so that happens. And she says, yes, how do you feel? And I started crying. I now understand more than ever that what he did to me is not only build my imagination, but he anchored me with an emotion and a feeling that made me into a person that could jump buildings, that would go through people so fast, so quick. The goal was to get, you know, 70 people to watch a video. And I'm just telling you, I'm not being mean. I'm more tactical today than I've ever been. But man, if people stuttered, I told them to forget it. I was like, Bob, hey, do you know anyone that would be interested in making some extra money? And if you wanted to make six figures a year, I'm working with a guy that, makes 62 grand a month. Who do you know? And it's like, what is this? F off. You know, I was I was that raw with my focus of getting 70 people to watch the video. I didn't want to convince 70 people to watch a video. So then if I convinced them to watch the video, then I could have to convince them that there was an opportunity in that video and that there was a cost to that video and there was some time with that video. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? And so the reason that my business exploded is because I found people at the right place at the right time. And because I did that and I put them in front of somebody that knew how to make them feel. Because I would try to sell. I would try to sell or convince from my logic. I didn't know what his magic dust was, his magic powder was. So when someone's talking to someone that understands that it's about feelings instead of logic, that's when you guys see me on breakthroughs, what I'm doing. The only thing that I'm interested in is understanding why a person feels the way they do. And then I want to be able to give them examples, parables, things where they go, I never thought about that. And that clicks from them. And now they have emotions and feelings toward the future. That's where that imagination. So you guys know how difficult sometimes it is for me to explain, hey, do you imagine every day? Do you imagine your perfect day? And then do you put, feelings behind it? Do you smell it? Do you hear it? Do you taste it? Do you see it? Do you get feeling around your imagination? Not logic. So how many people think that you think, well, I'll say it this way, because when I first learned some of this, how many of you have ever written down your goals? And if you're using science of getting rich or think and grow rich, it's got to be clearly defined. So how many of you have written down your goals and they were clearly defined, but you didn't get them? I got so many goals that blow your mind. And now I know why I didn't achieve them. Because I was told to write down a goal and it needed to be clearly defined. So I did that. And I just had a feeling of relief that I did an assignment they asked me to do. There was no feelings behind it, right? So that's why, people say, listen, get off goals and start doing this. So now let me share you another thing. I stumbled across in this feeling, where I shared it with Craig and Matt, but you guys can find these all over the internet. But it's Jim Carrey, honestly, just trying to figure out his life, right? And so all these people that have interviewed him, even a commencement speech that he does, he really talks about things that are out there. Like, hey, I don't know if you really realize this, but we're not real. We're not real. We're just a figment of everyone's reality. It's like, Jim Carrey is not really a person. And you'll see him walk by and they go, how are you doing? And he'll say, well, I'm nobody and this doesn't matter. And some people in interviews are going like, whoa, so if you see all these things, it's Jim Carrey trying to figure out, what is this thing called an ego? What about meditation? What about, Stoic? What about Buddhism? And he's just trying to find this place, right? And so this is the this is the step here that I really, really realize. And so all of a sudden, when you see people that on their journey is going down the stoic way, is like they're just willing to admit that nothing's real, nothing. It's our perception, our reality, and it's all about pain and suffering. And everyone has pain, and everyone suffers. So now when you don't really know who you are because you crushed your ego, now you got a whole different thing you got to deal with, right? So then all of a sudden he finds Eric Tolle, and Eric Tolle gets him to understand that the present. How many of you guys have seen this stuff? That, if you could be in the present and be in the present and just have gratitude and just have love for everything around you and just constantly go through the reason I like the greatest miracle in the world, it just makes you feel very grateful. But you hear the word feel, you don't think grateful. There's things that you feel. I feel gratitude. I feel love. I don't think love. How many of you have think love? You know what I mean? Isn't that? It's like, no, I feel love. Okay. So then you keep watching all this stuff like from Jim Carrey and other people that are starting to be bold. And I just don't know of another person that said it better. And so now the current things that you see of Jim Carrey is Jim Carrey goes, well, when I finally got to the place where it was painful and suffering all the time, then the next thing that I did is I, seen a therapist, and then I went from a therapist to being on Prozac. And why am I on Prozac, and why did I go to therapy? Because that's a lower feeling of despair and depression. And me and Terry, and everybody's got their own path. I want you to know that I'm just sharing this stuff with you. So then, I used alcohol a lot when I was young, right? Why would I use alcohol? Because I wanted to feel different. I didn't like me. I didn't like anything about me. The blame game, the victim game. Then I could drink and I could feel different. Some people call it liquid courage. So I was trying to feel different than I normally feel. And how many of you guys know people that medicate? They have to medicate because they're not comfortable in their own skin. They haven't taught themselves to feel. And so when I share this stuff with you guys about feeling, to have Jim Carrey to go from all of that to one of the last statements he said. He said, for me, suffering got me to salvation. And I was thinking, why would a person want to believe in something bigger than them? And again, Jim Carrey is really good with words. You can tell he spent a lot of time thinking about it. And he goes, because now I look up to somebody that through documentation and history suffered more than any other person on the planet. The very people that he loved abandoned him, became a traitor, denied him. It's like everything that he stood for, he had to stand publicly and go through the ultimate sacrifice. And so, again, the way I've been explaining it to people is that, a lot of people just get in your face about what you should believe. But if you watch that video that I put up today in Unlimited Wisdom, and I just said, when I get up in the morning, what do you do when you get up in the morning? And then I go, this is what I do when I get up in the morning. I want you to understand that I'm not pushing religion on you or God or Jesus, where I'm going to help millions and millions and millions of people. I'm going to get them to fall in love with the way they feel. I'm going to get them to go from thinking about themselves and feeling about themselves in a wrong way, feeling not enough. Because are you tired of suffering? Are you tired of suffering? Yeah, I am. Great. Let me just get you to feel different. See, because if you watch that, I know that some people, as soon as they're going to turn it on, they're going to go, oh my God, this is that religious crap, and they're gone. But wait a minute. The way I've done my entire life is by sorting. I want people to watch a video like that and go, wow, this is a lot of people feeling something. This is a lot of people feeling something. And I know people that have never, ever, ever, ever felt that. But if you really took the time to really talk to them, isn't it funny how sometimes we make fun of the cat lady, or we make fun of the cat guy? Where's Arthur? You know what I mean? I'm funny. But we make fun of people that have pets. We make fun out of people that do things that we don't understand, when all we really need to understand, if it was logically, is because they do that thing because it makes them feel better than they normally feel. Why would someone get addicted to anything? They know it's costing them time and money. And then some people go, well, I do drugs because it makes me more creative. Can you show me some stuff that you created? None of it's finished. What? Well, I got a bunch of it, but none of it's finished. Why isn't it finished? Because I get in pockets of feeling like creating, but most of the time I'm just feeling like, who cares? So if you're spending most of your awake time and most of your sleep time not feeling good, feeling great, feeling amazing, why don't you make that part of your reality and change that? So now part of the special forces is people win. So what do you think a professional athlete does when they win? So right now, the one we're watching, Coach Bob, is Cam Newton's on there. You know, they have people on there that, man, if you look them up in his stats, he's probably in the top probably 10 of all rushing quarterbacks. There was a time where he was the most valuable player, and that's voted by the other players. You know, so if you're the most valuable player in a year, you're a good football player. You're you're a top 0.1%er. And then you watch people on special forces of these guys just being broke down, man, because it's all about controlling your emotions. And so, of course, when Cam does something, very first thing that he does, he's got to, can you imagine all of us going to a place and then we're standing watching? So they take one of the guys that always demonstrates what they're doing, and you see this speedboat flying and the guy's standing on the back of the speedboat. And you're like, what is he doing? And then all of a sudden a helicopter comes out of nowhere. And it's one of those helicopters that military helicopters, it's fast. And it just comes out of nowhere and then hovers right next to the boat. And the person jumps off a speeding boat onto a moving helicopter to grab the base of it and then flip themselves up and crawl inside. That was their first assignment. And there's people going, so yeah, a majority of them failed. Do you think they failed because of their athletic ability? Or do you think that they were feeling the wind and the water hitting them in the face while they're looking at a helicopter and going, I don't know if I can do this? Yeah, Cam Newton's on the show. Sarah, but you'll see a lot of professional athletes. He's on season 3 that we're watching right now. All right. So once he gets into the helicopter, I mean, geez, he just barely catches on, gets up, gets in the helicopter, and as soon as he sets down, what a triumph, right? Because most of the people failed. And he sits in the helicopter and he's like, yeah, fucking yeah, and just screaming. And now he's got 2 guys in his face. Shut up. Shut up. And it's like, what? Listen, you can't be celebrating when you're behind enemy and you do something that saved you, so you scream and now they all know where you are. And I'm going, Coach Bob and some of you guys that love athletes will understand this. So wait a minute, from the time that I was a flag football kid at the age of 4 or 5, that when you do something and you score or you intercept or you do some kind of deal, everyone celebrates, and now I got to just shut up? So a number of times, even when someone that has not a lot of ability does something, then everyone that's still with them is all screaming, oh my God, Robert pulled this off. I didn't think he was going to. And now everyone's got to do push-ups. It's like, wow. So they're just taking all part of their emotions and getting them to really try to figure this out. So the end of this, I just want to share with you guys is, who do you think, if you said this to them, right? Who do you think would say, I'm really, truly do not want to experience the best emotions I can find in every area of my life? Because when I first got involved in personal development, and I heard this from Jim Rohn, Jim Rohn, and he said, do you realize that every moment in life is either going toward pleasure or moving away from pain? He really split it down to just that. We're avoiding pain, or we're seeking like purpose or passion. So we're constantly every day trying to figure out how to avoid pain and how to seek pleasure. We're just doing that, right? The problem with that is most of us don't realize that we're not living, we're just existing. Most people in life are experts at just existing. Because we do not want people pushing us into areas where we have to confront our feelings. So the best way not to feel anything is just not do anything. How many of you did that go home to you? So I love feeling. So when people hear me sometimes, I've had people go, wow, you really kicked my ass. But they don't know that I love them. I want the best for them. I want them to feel the best things that life has to offer. So I'm very passionate, but it comes across to them as me kicking their ass. And if you're like me, I really enjoy that feeling. I want to really continue to not only have an incredible relationship to what my imagination is. And if I know that I can create my own delusion, and a majority of the time, I'm feeling like I'm walking on air because I feel better when I'm sharing with others than when I'm not. I feel better when I'm preparing and opening myself up to get downloads that are aha moments and ahs for other people. I love doing those. I love doing those. So in closing, I could have did my best to try to explain to you guys the emotions that these people are going through and what they're feeling in special forces, or I could just promote and edify special forces. That's what I've mastered, is plugging into something, allowing the feelings to allow me to feel, and then get really good at edifying and promoting something that will make people feel something. There's my magic. There's my secret. My secret is I want people to feel. I don't want them to think. So I've had people my whole life walk up to me after presenting or training, and they're going, I'm in. I'm in. I go, awesome. I'm looking forward to working with you. I do not have a clue what this is or what to do next, but I sure love the way I feel around you. Wow. And those were things that people said that ended up having the largest success. The people that come up to me afterwards and they go, oh my God, that was awesome. Thank you. I go, how do you feel? Man, I'm excited. I'm excited. And I go, well, let's get going. I'd like to think about it. I'd like to think about thinking about it. I'd like to, contemplate, to consider, go back, talk to my spouse or a parakeet or dog. I might pray about it. It's like, because they don't want to stay in that feeling. It makes them feel uncomfortable. So I'm trying to do what my mentor did with other people and touch them on a feeling level, and they've done locked it off. They locked it off for so long that they don't want to feel. So you guys have heard me say this, but I think I'll say it on this and we're done. Is I tell people, you want a Super Saturday training? I'll give you the Super Saturday training on success for being massively successful. You ready? Step one, you got to pass this step first before you can go anywhere. And I've said this since 1998. All right. I go, have you ever watched a video online that made you feel something? And because some people don't understand feelings, I'll say this. When you watch the video, maybe it made you laugh. Maybe it made you, cry. Maybe it made you feel like, ugh, this injustice in the world. But it made you feel something. Maybe it pissed you off. Have you ever watched a video online and when you got a feeling about it, you shared it with other people? Yeah. Have you ever shared it with people like in the first couple of seconds of the video? Whoa. Craig's got to see this. Matt's got to see this. Terry's got to see this. Melody's got to see this. Deb's got to see this. Mary's got to see that. Coach Bob, Jay, Lisa Marie, Matt, Kevin, Bill. Yeah. Am I the only person? Do you guys realize what I'm talking about right now is what unlimited wisdom is? It's teaching people to feel something and then share that feeling with the community. So some of us might be just replying and making comments to get points on a leaderboard because that makes us feel like we're doing something. But how many of you that are on here or rewatch this, what if you actually took a little more time to make sure that people felt something in that post? Wait a minute. Robert, is that called viral? What's the difference between a video that goes nowhere and a viral video? A video that makes you feel something. So, you know what people do? Man, I want to get a lot of views on my YouTube channel. Matt's over 52 million now. And because he really is focused on how people feel, because he's a storyteller, he wants to be the best storyteller out there. He wants to be known for being a storyteller. Right? And so his videos make you feel something. But he's doing that deliberately. So then other people look at videos and go, oh my God, he got 10 million views on one video, and it's a shark, it comes up on somebody's surfboard. So they're thinking on how to create a viral video. Are you guys following me? Most people see me and the success that I have and whatever I do, they don't know that I'm running in the element of feeling. So I'm making other people feel because I'm telling stories and parables. I'm always making people feel. And then they go, Robert, can you tell me what you say to people? Do you got a script? I don't know what to say to people. So then do you connect with people? No. Why? Because I don't want to feel bad. What would make you feel bad? Well, I did it wrong, or I said the wrong thing, or they rejected me. How many people don't need to practice on feeling neutral or bad? How many of you know how to do that and would like to learn how to avoid that? So how many of you enjoyed, and and we've done this before. Melody has watched me dive not this deep, but I used to always have Melody, write what Craig just, it came up to Craig immediately. I thought that, and then I seen it. It's like, how would I feel if, and how would I act if? And so I always had Melody all the time have sticky notes around her that go, how do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? So where that phrase came from, how would I feel if, and how would I act if I said something to somebody other than me, what would they feel? What I'm doing right now, how would that make a person feel and act? Hello. Scammer. Scammer, someone pitching me on something. Okay, so if you want people not to feel that, maybe you should be posting something else, right? So most people that have birthdays, people put HB heart, and I put, you're a blessing. Have a fantastic day and year. Happy birthday. I love and appreciate you. Do you guys know how many responses I get back a year? Way over 5,000. I get people that respond to me wishing someone a happy birthday. It's like, who in the hell? I'm pretty sure this person doesn't even know this person really well. Why would they write all this and even say love and appreciate? But no, I do that on their wall, and then I send that to them personally. Have any one of you ever gotten a personal message from me? And then when you get close to me, I sing you happy birthday. How many of you reach out to people and sing happy birthday to them? Okay. On all the responses that come back to me, what do you think the person says? Thank you for making me feel special. Thank you for going the extra mile. Yeah, because it makes sense to make people feel good, right? So if you guys have been really following me with all these downloads, does it make sense now why I tell people, why would you want to be a person that's against something that somebody's feeling? See, that's what they're doing. It's like, oh my God, I just got back from um, you guys are going to crack up because I don't remember it. What was the name of the band, you guys, where the couple got caught cheating? They were at some kind of concert for a certain band.
Coldplay.
Matt, thank you. Do you know there was more people that made comments about them being at a Coldplay concert and not actually getting caught cheating? People went, dude, everyone cheats, but no one goes to a Coldplay concert. Have you guys heard that people do this stuff, right? So when you look at people's responses, good or bad, pathetic or evil versus not, isn't everyone just either trolling and through their trolling, they're expressing their feelings? That's why people hijack people's comments and their posts. It's like, well, me and Terry, we've been married, 37 years. And then people post underneath there, well, I've been married for 40. Well, I've been through 3 divorces. It's like, whether it's good or bad, my comment made them feel something and they can't help themselves, so they got to post. There's no such word as gooder and gooder. And I usually respond, I'm sorry, I got to get better at my grammar. I are a multi-millionaire. They're like, I am, not I are. So sometimes I'm a troller too. Because you say something like if they're going to go out of their way to do that, it's like yes, the caps, right? It's funny. I'm sorry about my caps. That's a feeling, right, Bob? And it's like, stop yelling at me. Anyway, I hope this made sense to you guys. I really want you to consciously, again, we don't know that we don't know, but what if you had a bunch of notes around yourself, just asking yourself, how is this making me feel? How is this making me feel? How is this making me feel? And is feeling this way getting me closer to being that beautiful becoming? Because I don't know about you guys, but when I get into a good routine and a good feeling, that's how I stay in it. What I've been able to do in my life and what you can do in your life, I promise you, is to be very, very sensitive to being very sensitive to not being in the right feeling. You walk into a room, there's things around you, you're making a turn, and now you're trusting your intuition 1000% that you're really avoiding pain and staying in pleasure. You're like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to watch that. Wouldn't it be so great to be so conscious of your emotions that you went, I don't like the way I feel when I don't do my routine. When other people are going, wait a minute, you're asking me to read, chapter 9, every night before I go to bed. That's not going to make me feel good. You know what I mean? I have to do this. No, you don't have to do anything. But my goal for you is to really, really feel the best that you can while every moment that you're on this planet should be more about feeling joy and feeling authentic and feeling love, feeling all the positive emotions instead of feeling the negative. So I love and appreciate you. I believe in you. I know that you can do this. My mentors told me that I could do it and gave me permission to do it. So I know I can do it for you. So I love you. See you soon. Have a great feeling day.